Sauron kind of gets thrown into the mix, but basically Nature Girl, woo, puts together this team of mutant followers who, what's going on everybody? I'm GemMint, and these are the new comic book day reviews for Wednesday, August 17th. It's actually Tuesday, August 16th right now. I record these on Tuesdays. Members get early access. But man, I fell behind about 3 weeks or so. And if it wasn't for you guys in the comments saying, hey, where's the new comic book day reviews, asking when I was gonna do them, I might not have done them again. So man, I appreciate you guys wanting these videos, and I'm happy to have caught up and share them with you guys today. Now, I'm not gonna bother going over all the comics for the last 3 weeks. I figured I'd just get caught up with the essentials and got caught up with this week's books. Before we jump into it, we are going live on Whatnot later today at 2 p.m. Pacific, 5 p.m. Eastern, and we got a ton of giveaways on deck. Big shout out to Infinite Objects for this TMNT moving picture frame. I posted a picture on this on Instagram and it blew up, so I figured, you know what, let's go ahead and do this for a giveaway later today. But that's not all we're giving away, man. Got a bunch of great books. This X-Men 1 Magneto cover. We've got this crossover issue 3. This is the Todd McFarlane Spawn cover. So I figured, you know what, we might as well throw in a Spawn #1 first appearance. We also got this Wolverine 1 in a newsstand, first ongoing series. Uncanny X-Men 268 classic Jim Lee cover, and the Captain America Annual 8 Wolverine and Captain America battle. Make sure to bookmark that sale, going live later today. Now let me get this out of the way because it's going to be crazy distracting, and let's jump into the new comic book day reviews. So I did miss 2 issues from this week. Firepower issue 23, I'll get caught up. It's a super fast read, no big deal. And I missed out on Barbaric issue 1. This is book 2. An axe to grind. So I really like the first volume, the 3 issues. I didn't even think to look for this one. I'll pick it up and review it next week. I did get to review Isolation from good friend of ours, Reggie Simmons, aka Reggie Collects. This is by Doug Branton, Dahlia Gunderson, and of course Reggie Simmons. So Isolation is actually the name of a place. It's not a thing, it's not a situation, and this is a black and white comic that is kind of unraveling the mystery of this lost city of Isolation. It seems to have some type of supernatural powers. I'm getting like Stillwater vibes, and we're going through different eras of time and like the weird stuff that has happened there. I'm digging it so far. I'm intrigued. I'll continue to read it. Along with that, we did pick up from Dynamite. They have a new #1, Lady Hell. This is from the Chaos comics. Now, I'm a super noob when it comes to that, and this does tie into Purgatory, but you don't really have to have necessarily read Purgatory to know that she kicked out Lady Hell from her universe's version of hell. So there's a multiverse. Everything is shared now, even in the Dynamite world, and Lady Hell is now finding herself in a different ruler's hell, and she's been usurped, if you will. So I was digging it. I liked the kind of shared continuity. Lady Hell from Dynamite, give it a shot. Which is going to bring us over to Image. So 20th Century Men. This was a new #1 by Camp, Morian, and Bidikar. Love Bidikar, but I couldn't get into this book, man. It's very rare that I don't finish an issue. I couldn't get through to the end of this, man. It was a very political, war-driven book. You had comic book vibes with this guy in this big armor mech suit, but man, I was just bored. Sorry, wasn't for me. But moving on to The Last Shadowhawk. So I'm also a Shadowhawk noob. I didn't grow up reading it. I figured I'd give this a shot. It's Philip Tan, Daniel Henriquez, Federico Blee, and Todd Tochoika. Am I saying that right? So this feels like Moon Knight mixed with Darkhawk. I mean, you have like this raptor-like character, this species of characters who serve this god, like the Fist of Khonshu. I like it. I mean, I'd have to keep reading to see if I want to stick with it. Obviously, the artwork is amazing. There's a slew of awesome variant covers. But for me, this issue was just like, oh, okay, it's The Last Shadowhawk. Feels like Darkhawk mixed with Moon Knight. That's all I got for you. Then we got Above Snakes, issue 2 by Sean Lewis and Hayden Sherman, plus Hassan Otsmane Elhow. Now, I really liked issue 1. It's like this Ronin type of character, right? traveling the land, saving people, but I just felt like this issue, like nothing much really happened. It didn't have the same excitement and adventure that issue 1 had, but you know, I'll stick with it. I'll give issue 3 a chance. I just felt like this issue was a little slow. Then we're on to Nita Hall's Nightmare Blog, issue 7. Congrats, the crew got an extended arc, it seems like. I thought this series was over with issue 6, so this is the setting up of a new arc. The Nightmare Blog is up in case supernatural stuff happens and they can contact someone to help them, like the Ghostbusters. So there's these weird homicides, Nita Hall's being tapped. You know, it's just kind of a setup issue, nothing really major. Didn't really pull me in as much as the first arc did, but I'll probably give it a chance. I did like that first arc. On to Seven Sons, issue 3. This is by Jay Lee, Robert Wyndham, and Kelvin Mao. So this was one that I did get caught up with. I loved issue 2. It was very exciting. Issue 3 is basically the falling apart of these 7 messiahs, right? Some are being killed, some are being hunted. And there's this whole religious war brewing here, which from what I hear has led to some controversy, but in speaking with Jay Lee, just ride it out. There's a big twist here coming, so I'm sticking with it. Love the artwork, love big religious type stories. I think it's cool to like tackle those types of subjects, so I'm digging Seven Sons. I think it's slept on. Moving along to Bloodstained Teeth, Christian Ward, Patrick Reynolds, Heather Moore, Hassan Oatsmain Elhow once again. This is issue 5. Really like this issue. This guy turned as many people into vampires as they wanted. As long as they had the money, he was down to turn them into sips, if you will, right? That's the name of like the not pure blood. So he's been tasked by his higher ups to kill all the sips he's created. He's only got a month, but he's created people that are hard to get to. This one is about this movie star guy who's got a lot of muscle around him. It's not really easy to just get in there and kill him. It's got an Art Deco type of color scheme to it, little neon palette, if you will. Really digging this series. It's fun, it's exciting, and it's funny to see all these next opponents that he's got to wipe out. The more you go on, the harder they seem to become to get rid of. Then we have Do a Power Bomb, issue 3, Daniel Warren Johnson and Mike Spicer. Y'all, I'm not even a wrestling fan, and I love this book. It's so fun. It's basically this girl grew up with her mother being a wrestler. She was following in her footsteps. Her mother died, so she's been tapped by this supernatural being to compete in a wrestling tournament, and if she wins, she can resurrect her mother. Now, there's a twist on the wrestler who killed her mother that has close ties to her, and then you're in this big tournament where it's like you have wrestlers from all these different worlds. Most of the world's wrestling is real, and they're really about that life. But so is our main character, man. She's pretty badass. It's exciting. It's fun. It feels like you're playing a video game, reading a comic. I really loved it. I'm glad I gave number 1 a shot. Issue 3 might have been the best issue so far. Then we're on to Silver Coin, issue 13. Issue 12 was amazing. It was like this diner issue where they just kept on eating and engorging themselves. It was kind of sick. Issue 13 is by Johnny Christmas with Michael Walsh, and this one is about a pregnancy. She grabs the silver coin. This guy tries to abandon her with the child, and it is really grotesque and really disturbing. But it's the silver coin. It's a horror anthology series. It's really dope, man. I don't think I really have been let down by any of these issues. Michael Walsh pairing up with a top-tier writer on every issue. You should give it a shot. There should be a dope hardcover coming out, I would think. All right, now we're moving on to Marvel Comics, and I'm going to try to keep everything straight here. The retention on Marvel, I don't feel like is as strong as it is for my DC stuff, but Avengers 1 million BC. This is by Jason Aaron, Walker, and White. I dug this issue, man. I thought it was going to be goofy. I thought I wasn't going to like it. Yeah, it's a prehistoric Avengers team, but like the more I read it, the more I liked that. You've got Odin as their Thor. You've got Phoenix. You've got a Black Panther. You've got an Iron Fist. And it makes sense. Like all these characters have been around before the characters that we know and love. So I really dug this. This is, the first Avengers team, and it's telling the story of the birth of Thor, how his mother came to be, the relationship between the Phoenix and Odin. I really liked it. Then we have Savage Avengers, issue 4. This is by Pepos, Magno, and Grutengern. So I like this story a lot. I mean, this felt really big and epic. It almost felt like, is this only a 5-issue series? How far are they going to take this? How much longer does Marvel have the rights to Conan? And I'm not a Conan guy, but I like the fact that he's the time displacement that called in this Deathlock to basically eradicate him. But I like the humanity that Deathlock shows here. It's also a very weird team. What is it like? Agent Anti-Venom is there. It's a weird Avengers team, but I really like the Deathlock Conan aspect. But why does the Conan stuff always have to do with the Serpent King? It's like, can we get a new villain? Now we're on to Axe. It's Avengers, X-Men Eternals, Death to the Mutants by Kieran Gillen, joined by Villanova and Lima. So, I've been sticking with the Eternal stuff. I kind of like the premise that mutants are essentially deviants, with them being able to resurrect themselves, with them being able to terraform other planets and kind of spread like a virus, that the Eternals are going to step in now and kill them. You got Thanos' grandfather, Uranos in the mix. Like most of the Kieran Gillen stuff, I find it to be a little on the boring side, and I don't really feel like this issue had the big payoff. I think the thing with Eternals is, Kieran Gillen can be literally like reading data, right, with the narration here, and it can be a little wordy, but there's usually a good payoff that keeps me wanting more, and I just feel like I didn't really get it with this issue. So X-Men 13 is continuing with this whole Axe thing. This is called Judgment Day. It's Jerry Dugan, Villa, and Millie Vanilli. This one was more of the action aspect of Eternals versus X-Men. It was a big, huge battle. You had big epic stuff with Iceman, Forge. It was pretty dope. I thought it was an action-packed issue, and it was a worthy tie-in to the Axe storyline. I mean, I think I'm seeing negative reviews on it. I kind of was always on board with this whole Axe thing. This one I felt like was stronger than the previous issue I was talking about. Then we're on to X-Men Green, issue 1, also by Jerry Dugan. This is by Liezo and Rosenberg. So this is really kind of like an activist mutant. But in context, in reading it, it makes a lot of sense, man. Imagine if you were a mutant that can tap into animals and you see all the horrible things that humans do to them. You're going to snap one day and go against the humans. So they have this whole green thing. It feels Swamp Thing-ish. Sauron kind of gets thrown into the mix, but basically Nature Girl, puts together this team of mutant followers who they're kind of just following her lead. She's attacking humans, man. She is sick of the cruelty to animals. Like I said, it's activist-y, but I still kind of dug it. Then we're on to X-Men 92, House of whatever those Roman numerals are. So Steve Fox, Salva Espen, and Israel Silva. So this was supposed to feel like the animated series take on modern X-Men. It's supposed to be Krakoa, the Hellfire Gala, all this stuff, but like in 1992 with those versions of the mutants. But I don't know, it just feels weird. I feel like they're changing things, and like the Hellfire Gala played out different than it did in the regular titles. I just don't understand really the point of this, man. Wasn't really feeling it. Then we're on to X-Force, issue 30, Benjamin Percy, Gil, and Guru EFX. Yo, just give Benjamin Percy a Deadpool title at this point. Yo, I laughed out loud so many times during this issue, but it's a Deadpool issue. The way that he interacts with Omega Red, with the Quiet Council, with him being a part of X-Force now. But just like my critiques with Wolverine, it just doesn't feel like it's part of the X-Force run. I guess it ties into the Judgment Day Axe thing. I don't really even remember that. I just remember the Deadpool stuff here, and it was hilarious. Hulk issue 8's here. Donny Cates, joined by Johnson, Cocolo, and Wilson. This is the end of Banner War. It's the finale. Kind of thought it was a little anticlimactic. I mean, it was kind of predictable, no stakes. Funny how they keep mentioning the El Paso thing. Like, all this is because Hulk snapped and destroyed El Paso, where we just moved from. I liked Banner War. Ending was fine. I would reread it in a trade. Daredevil 2 is here. It is Legacy issue 650 by Chip Zdarsky, Checchetto, De La Torre, and Wilson. Amazing artwork. Big, explosive, huge scenes. And this is like a reset for Daredevil. Now everyone thinks Matt Murdock is dead and Daredevil's free to do his thing. He's got his teammate Elektra, who is still also Daredevil. And this was an oversized issue. It even had a backup story that Chip Zdarsky drew, which was kind of fun. It had all the covers. It was one of those oversized issues. Yeah, I mean, I'm with it. I like it. It had the religious aspect. I remember talking with Chip Zdarsky during a live stream about that, and I was glad to see him bring that back around for this. But I think the artwork really overshadowed this in a good way, though. Love Chip's writing, one of my favorite writers right now, but I just can't think of anything else but those big, explosive, environmental scenes. Last one from Marvel, we're on to Strange issue 5, Jed MacKay, joined by Ferreira, Foggy, and Tartaglia. I love how Jed MacKay combined his 2 ongoing series right now. He's doing at least 2, right? This Strange issue where Clea Strange is trying to figure out how to bring Stephen Strange back from death, and it's a Moon Knight tie-in, which is the other title Jed MacKay is doing. Really dug this. I loved this team up. I loved how we see how Moon Knight patrols and he just checks in on people and scares them, and his explanation for that was awesome. But Clea is a badass, man. I've been digging this series, and I like how she jumps in, helping Moon Knight do his patrol thing, but using her intimidation tactics. It was a dope issue. All right, y'all, on to DC, which means it's a DC pick of the week. We're going to start with talking about Nightwing. This is issue 95 by Taylor, Redondo, and Lucas. It's the same stuff that we've been getting from Tom Taylor this entire time. It flows so well. The art style complements it. And this is part 4 of this big blockbuster thing with huge repercussions for Dick Grayson at the end of this. So I'm continuing to read it. No reason to stop. One of the stronger DC titles right now. Moving on to Black Adam, issue 3. This is by Priest, Sandoval, and Herms. I feel like I'm missing something. I mean, I read issue 2. Issue 3, I don't know what's going on. They're trying to save somebody in the hospital, the new White Adam, but Black Adam is like stuck in hell fighting people. I don't know. I was a little bit lost. I mean, I'm not really going to give up on it yet. I might have to reread issue 2. On to World's Finest, issue 6. This is the Mark Waid book with Moore and Von Villain. So I think I might have missed issue 5, but this is a self-contained type of issue. Somehow we're in the past where Robin is working at a circus and he's trying to foil murderers who are pinning their murders onto the animals, the bears and the lions. Somehow Batman and Superman find him back in time and help him solve this mess. It was kind of a fun, lighthearted issue. I mean, no big deal. Which brings us to DC vs. Vampires All Out War issue 2 by Rosenberg, Packendahl, and Quilano. I just also caught up on DC vs. Vampires, whatever last week's issue was, which I didn't need to do to read this whatsoever. This is a black, white, and red issue. It's basically Deathstroke and Azrael leading this team, trying to take down the vampires and save the day. It's an all-out war. Anyone can die. Wonder Woman is evil as hell, but she's pretty dope in this issue. It was all right. It was a big, fun slugfest. Then we're on to Batman, The Knight, issue 8 out of 10. Chip Zdarsky, D. Giamencio, and Plasencia. Love this series. I thought it started off a little slow, and I started saying to myself, damn, Chip, don't mess up on this title just because you're taking the main Batman title over, which he's doing an amazing job. But nah, this really came together. I like that whole Anton thing and how that came full circle. Batman here has to go to one of his last mentors, the last piece of his training, to basically train his mind so he doesn't feel pain, doesn't feel emotion. And it's all leading up to meeting this last mentor, a very famous mentor that everybody knows and loves, who I'm not going to spoil here today. Before we get into my pick of the week, open enrollment is active for the Comic Tom 101 mystery mail call. Not only will he send you comics at random, but he's got a new amazing exclusive variant for Invincible, issue 1, with a wraparound cover by John Boy Myers. There are 4 different versions of this cover. You've got your trade dress, your virgin, your color splash, and your foil. You'll get one of those at random in the mystery box. And stay tuned to the channel because Tom tends to add more and more exclusive as the months go on. Hit ComicTom101.com to secure the mystery mail call today. With that being said, guys, I was reading this week's comics and I almost thought that I wasn't going to have a pick of the week. But then I read Batman, One Bad Day, The Riddler, #1. This is by Tom King and Mitch Gerards, and it was so obviously clear that this was the pick of the week. Holy what Tom King did with the Riddler, he took him to a whole other level. This is the Jim Lee and Scott Williams cover. I'm not a Tom King fanboy. I will check out everything he does. Some things I don't like. I think they're overly relationshipy, and some things I dig. I really like this issue. It's kind of an origin of Riddler and showing why he snapped. And now he just committed a murder in broad daylight on camera to taunt Batman with no riddles whatsoever. And Tom King does a really good job of making you feel bad for Riddler and how he grew up and the pressure of his father, who ended up being the headmaster of the school he was going to, the professor that was throwing riddles into the tests that you really weren't able to study for, hurting Edward's grades, and Batman trying to figure this all out. The position that Riddler puts himself in the end of this issue, it's so awesome. He literally becomes untouchable, but we'll have to continue reading to see what happens, right? This is not just a one-shot. It's issue 1. I'm hoping they continue with this because the way it ends could really end like this as well. Y'all got to let me know in the comments if this is an ongoing thing or not. It should have been DC Black Label. Is this Black Label or not? This has got to be Black Label. I don't see that anywhere written on the book or anything, but this was violent. It was expletive. It was dark. It was awesome. And those are the new comic book day reviews, man. We are back, baby. I don't plan to miss any more weeks. I'm going to make it a priority, man. Again, thank you guys for letting me know it's something that you really wanted to see on the channel. I really liked reading it. I hated being behind. And I'll catch you guys next time. Stay minty fresh. Peace.